Let's talk about a couple of different terms that I use to remember when you're posing. I like that you're laughing already. The first one is the rotisserie chicken. This is like my #1 favorite posing tip, and you will remember it because it's funny. You see, my husband doesn't think I'm funny. It's weird. The rotisserie chicken, and that basically looks like this. We're going to start with a girl on her stomach on the bed, and then you're going to move her to her side, and then you're going to move her to her back, and then you're going to move her to the other side, and it's like a rotisserie chicken. Get it? We're just going to keep rotating her around and around. So I am, instead of just showing you the pictures, I'm going to actually show you how I do this. We're going to work with our amazing model, Laura, today. The only person more nervous than me is her. So can you come and step right in for us? So even though, you look amazing, by the way. I didn't get to see you totally done up, so come on over here next to me. Okay. Laura, one thing I want to mention is, this is not about wardrobe, but I do want to mention her wardrobe just a little bit. We spoke about her comfort level. I had her try on a bunch of different outfits. For me, this is the one that was the most flattering, right? We went through, and I was really honest with her, right? Like I said to you, you know what, I don't like where your bustier ends. It's making your hips look larger than they really are, and you don't have large hips, so let's not wear that. So we made this wardrobe choice, which I think she looks amazing. Her comfort level is to wear the robe, which I actually really like. I think that it's really delicate and pretty, and it adds a little bit of fun to it, and it's something when I think about posing flow that will be really helpful because she can kind of play with the robe. We'll give her hands something to do. This is a whole bunch of stuff that we've already talked about in the 8 points of posing, right? So I think you look incredible. We are going to try the rotisserie chicken. Are you ready? Okay. Let me grab my camera. I think so. I think I'm going to kick my shoes off too. I'm going to look even shorter now. Okay. All right, so right now, I haven't even taken a test shot. Like, this could not get any more real if I tried. What I want you to do is lay on the bed, and this is pretty much how I start every single bed session. And what I'm gonna show you right now are bed shots that will look good on anybody, okay? This is really simple stuff, you guys. If you could nail this, you will have sellable bed shots, period. So what I want you to do is lay on the bed on your stomach.
Vertically or horizontal?
I'm gonna show you right now. I would like you to lay with your feet there and your head here, diagonal, like you're cutting the bed in half. Do you see how specific that is? Okay, it doesn't mean she's gonna get it because she's nervous. Half the time they end up on their back or they go somewhere else, but I'm really, really specific. Okay, what I want you to do is be all the way on the bed. Good, and can you scooch back a tiny little bit? Now, this is a full-size bed. Let's talk about that for 1 second because a lot of people are like, can I shoot on a twin? Do I need a king? What size bed do I need? I usually recommend like a full or a queen, mostly because if you have a studio, it's not gonna take up that much room and you can move it around. This bed is on wheels. My bed in my studio is on wheels and I'm able to move it. A twin bed gets a little weird for me because it's small and when you lay her on the bed, she's gonna look gigantic and it changes her proportions for me. I'm not saying if you only have a twin bed, you can't use it. Figure out a way to make it work. That's awesome. But if you have a choice, I would say full or queen size bed is probably the best way to go. When I shot in my bedroom, when I started my business, I shot on a king size bed because that's what I had in the room and that's just the way it was and I made it work. But sometimes girls could look really tiny on that bed because it's much bigger. So just think about proportionally, you know, what you can move around, what you have room for. And so full, I think this is a full, so because it looks a little bit smaller than a queen, but it looks pretty good. So can you do me a favor, and I like how your legs are crossed, just raise them up for me. Perfect. Can you cross them the other way for just 1 second? Do you guys see, this is a very common mistake here, by the way, in posing, how her legs are crossed this way. What happens here, I'm gonna swing over here for 1 second. This ankle breaks up the line of this leg. Do you mind if I'm just like, I'm not gonna like touch you, but do you mind if okay. So you see how her leg is coming up and we're chopping it. It ends right here, basically. Okay, can you switch your legs for me? Good, and just raise your feet up a little tiny bit. Good. Do you see how her leg looks so much longer like that? This is a really simple little trick. Allie and I were talking about this the other day. We were looking at some of her pictures. I was like, oh, Allie, switch her legs. It'll make such a big difference. It's a tiny little thing, but it makes a huge impact. I love that you're wearing nude color shoes. Make sure your toes are pointed at all times for me. She just grew 2 inches. I love that. Perfect. Can you please take the arm that's closest to me and just kind of bring it back a tiny little bit? Good. And the arm that's furthest from me, bring it around your hair where your head and your neck meet. Excellent. I want you to bring this knee out to me a little tiny bit. Yep. And if you can't understand what I'm saying, I will hop on the bed and show you, but I'm gonna try to explain it in words. You're gonna kind of push off the knee and pop your hip up a little bit. Perfect. I want you to keep your ankles closer together. Good, and pop up as much as you possibly can for me. So it's not an out movement, it's an up movement. I'm gonna show you. Just, guys, don't shoot like up here. All right, I want you to mirror me. You're gonna see how I'm just creating a curve, like I'm kind of pulling my tush up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep your, your legs don't even have to be that far apart. You can just be a little far apart. Just pop. It's more about like, almost like as if you were turning over. Okay. Yes, like that. Got it? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so if she doesn't understand what I'm saying, I'm gonna show her what I want her to do. Do not be afraid to do that, guys. You have to do that too. It doesn't matter if you're a male photographer or a female photographer. Also, notice how I asked her if it was okay if I touched her, even to show you guys what I was doing. You always ask, girls, always. Men, don't ever touch, okay? Brian and Jen, you guys have a very unique scenario that you're husband and wife and you work together, and so you don't have to worry because you can have Jen there and she can assist you and not stuff. You guys, I would recommend finding like a female assistant or a makeup artist or somebody that can be there with you to help her put on corsets, stockings, move her arms, move her hair around, whatever you need to do. So that would be a really good idea. And it's also protection for you because you know there's gonna be some crazy girl that's like, he made me take my clothes off or whatever it is. So it's protection for you as well as it is for her. Okay. So let's take a couple pictures. Is this gonna, I'm afraid I'm gonna knock this over. Can you just help me with this? I just, on the rug, it's like, makes me nervous.
Do you want the lights down there too?
Yes, sure.
How close do you want it?
It's not that I want it closer. I want it to kind of wrap around over here.
Gotcha.
If you can just work with me in moving this.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, this looks better. Thanks. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Can we actually lower it a tiny little bit? When I say we, I mean you. That looks better. Maybe a little tiny bit more. Sorry, Jen.
No, it's okay.
Okay, good. All right, so right now, let's just see where we're at. I'm so not used to working in such a big space. This is not my 50, actually. This is my 35. I was wondering why it was looking different than I was expecting. I'm gonna start with my 50 millimeter, the Sigma 50 art lens. I freaking love this lens, almost as much as my children. It's like the best lens ever. So it's sort of my go-to staple, mostly because I work in such a small space that the 50 is great. The 85 is typically a better portrait lens because it's not going to be as much distortion, but I don't find a ton of distortion with the 50. It's my baby. I love it. And for me, with the space that I'm working in my studio, it's what I use. So I'm going to do that today as if I was in my own studio for you guys. Again, it's the 50 1.4 by Sigma. And let's see. Yeah, there you are. I like that much better. All right, let's see. I am going to put this on just daylight balanced. White balance, just to make my life easier. And let's see where we're at here. Okay. Let's see. Wow, that is majorly overexposed. So let's make some changes here. All right, I am going to bump my ISO down to 500. Typically, these are the Westcott TD6s. Just relax your eyebrows for me. And breathe through your mouth for me just a little bit, Laura. These are the Westcott TD6s, and okay, that's much better. Okay, these are the Westcott TD6s. They're also called the spider lights. This is just, the softbox is 36 by 48. It's the shallow softbox, and there's a reason why I'm telling you. Oh, it's daylight balanced light. So TD6 stands for tungsten daylight. Tungsten is not what we're using. We're using daylight. And you know, I already went over all the gear that I use, but I just want to remind you guys of what I'm using here. And I do use these in my studio. What's nice is, again, I can use them with the daylight that I already have, but we don't have any daylight in here. Okay, so let's get back to the flow. So now I have her in this spot, and I want you to just pop your booty up as much as you possibly can. I know it's hard, I know, but you're gonna love it later. And just keep your toes pointed, and I think that's great. What I want you to do is turn your head a little this way and just look down toward your elbow for me, but without lowering your chin too much. Perfect. Now guys, I'm gonna rush this a little, like I would take a little more time in my studio, but I'm gonna go through and show you. Was that a good O? Yeah. Okay, good. Because I'm not looking back there, I'm looking over here. Oh, okay, it's not bad. Now you see, I'm seeing the lines of her body, which I really love, all right? I'm seeing the landscape of her body. What I want you to do is just drop your legs. Do not uncross them. Do not move your knees. Just drop your legs all the way down. Don't worry about the pillow. I will move it. So I just don't want this ankle to look awkward. Just relax it for me. Yeah, good, okay. Now what I might do is get up on a step stool, which I don't have right now, but I'm just gonna show you for argument's sake. Unless there's one hand, you have one handy? Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So I haven't changed anything. This is basically the same foundation pose, right? But I'm just having her drop her legs. That's all that I had her do, and I'm gonna create a totally different image. Oh my God, this is like a serious ladder time. Good, and just look right up at me. Perfect, and then Laura, what I want you to do is look down again toward your elbow. Perfect. What can I say that would make you laugh? Like, is there a word that, yeah, okay, good. That usually works. Excellent. Okay, what I want you to do is bring your legs back up for me. And can you take the arm that you're leaning on and lay it down on the bed? And just lay on it for me. Perfect, and then maybe bring your arm back up like this. I see how she had her hand like this at first. I don't want that because her hand's coming right toward the camera. It's not gonna look good. So just bring it back like that, perfect. And now I'm gonna move in just a little bit on her. Give me a little tiny squint in your eyes. Gorgeous. Okay, so now again, I'm cropping her in a different spot. I'm coming in, I'm moving out. This might be cute even as a full body, so let's see. You know, can you come up a little tiny bit on that elbow? Good.